Jamie?
It's not hear me?
No.
Now we can.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Michelle,
Here.
Sally,
Here.
Andy,
Here.
and Rogelio.
Aye.
Okay.
I'm here.
Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible,
liberty and
with
justice for all.
Hold on.
Thank you all. May I have a motion to approve the minutes and the consent, the agenda, the minutes from last meeting in the consent agenda?
I'll move to approve the minutes from our last regular meeting.
Okay. And can I have a second?
Second.
Any questions about the minutes, corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Questions? Jamie, it's a roll call.
Michelle,
Aye.
Sally,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Rogelio,
Aye.
and I am I.
Thank you. And moving on to D, public interest reports. Welcome, Fatima, if you'd like to give us a your student report.
Yes. Okay. Concejo High School is coming to the end of another grading period and soon will be near the end of the first semester. Currently, our students who need additional academic support can visit teachers during office hours or use paper.gov. This week, we are having all students coming on campus for individual appointments for their yearbook and ID photos. Seniors will have their senior yearbook portraits in November. Concejo High School has received the second and final shipment of equipment for your advanced engineering classes. The equipment was set up in the science wing and soon will find its home in the new engineering lab, the old wood shop. Tomorrow is a Haas Heroes Assembly for all juniors from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. And this week is Virtual Spirit Week at City Test. Yesterday was Sports/Jersey Day. Today was Tourist Day / Beach Day. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Sunglass and or Hat Day. Thursday, Class Color Day. Freshmen yellow, sophomores purple, juniors blue, and seniors pink. Friday, Warrior Spirit Day, and Warrior First Day. Thank you.
Thanks, Fatima, very much.
Thank you.
Dinah, your superintendent's report?
Sure. Thank you, Sally. I'd like to begin with appreciation, and I'd like to recognize CUSD's operations team. Hi, guys. Led by Assistant Superintendent Maureen Fitzgerald for their outstanding work in safely preparing our schools for reopening. Jim Pettit is the maintenance supervisor, Michael Littlejohn, warehouse and transportation supervisor, Jennifer Rinn, purchasing, Michelle Hernandez, food services coordinator, and Reed Barnes, ground supervisor. I'd also like to recognize the school's custodians for working hard in sanitizing and disinfecting our campuses. That is Jorge Garcia and Jose Sanchez at Aliso, Ophelia Hernandez at Summerland, Ruben Jimenez and Peter Ramos and Isidro Rodriguez at Catalino, Eric Cular and Vidal Corneo at the middle school, and Javier Cisneros, John Lyons, and Jesus Zamora at the high school. The next item is enrollment, and our current enrollment is 2,084 students, in which our previous enrollment was 2,150. So we're six less enrolled students at this time. And I included an enrollment history for the last 10 years, which indicates that each year we're declining about 1%. So after 10 years, it's been about a 10% decline. The next item is the small cohorts at the middle school and high school. On September 4th, the California Department of Public Health disseminated guidance for school reopening for small cohorts, in which you provide guidance for necessary in-person child supervision and limited instruction, targeted support services, and facilitation of distance learning in small group environments for a specified subset of children and youth, and for those programs to understand the required health and safety practices needed to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in their settings. Following the CDPH guidance on schools and school-based programs for social distancing, face masks, cleaning, health screening of students, and staff COVID-19 testing, both CMS and CHS are providing in-person instruction to small cohorts of special ed students and those students who've had difficulty connecting by way of internet remote learning. So they are now attending in small cohorts in person to complete their schoolwork. The next item refers to our budget, and later on tonight, Maureen's going to give a full budget presentation. Is that an echo that I'm hearing?
A little bit.
Okay. Every year in October, the County of Santa Barbara releases property tax roll collection estimates. However, the CUSD adopted budget must be approved prior to July 1st. So before those estimates are released. The 2021 adopted budget included estimated property taxes based on the best assumptions known at that time, along with historical trend analysis. The preparation of the 2021 assumptions were exceptionally difficult due to COVID-19 and the unknown effects of homeowners' inability to make timely payments and whether or not the teeter status would be repealed by the county. Our budget estimates included a 3% increase and reduced from a trend of 5% each year. And then on October 13th, this month, the County of Santa Barbara released their property tax roll estimates. And CUSD estimated property taxes are 5.84% higher than 2019-20.
Yay.
Good news. That's good news, everybody. Big smiles. This
Yay.
increase is reflected in part due to a single home sale earlier in 2020 of over $23 million. It's reflected in the October budget update, increasing the budgeted property tax revenue by $785,000 for 2021. This increase in turn will increase the multi-year assumptions for 21-22 and 22-23, which will also be reflected in the budget update that you're going to hear about just a little bit later. The next item is about the CARES Act and our learning loss mitigation funds. We refer to them as the LLMF funds. We received a total of $2.249 million from both federal and state sources, and we've spent and encumbered $1,891,839 to date, leaving $357,313 left to spend. All the expenditures were related to the COVID-19 responses to distance learning, school safety, learning loss, mental health counseling, health services, professional development, additional instructional supports, and food services. AHA, well-being groups for CUSD staff. So our AHA is providing weekly virtual confidential support groups for our staff to calm stress, boost resiliency, and enhance mental wellness. This is the quote, you continue to give, this is the quote to the teachers that we sent, you continue to give all your support to your students in these challenging times, and in the spirit of helping you take care of you, CUSD is offering well-being support groups. So our staff can join the AHA team every month for this support. In addition, we have Care Solace. CUSD has partnered with Care Solace to make it easier for families and students and staff to connect with mental health care resources and providers in our community. Our goal is to ensure that our school community has access to reliable, ethical, and high-quality mental health care services, regardless of income, especially during these most challenging times. This web-based care navigation system enables fast, easy, and convenient connection of students and families in need of mental health care to qualified providers and resources. The care concierge experts are available 24/7 to help families through the process of accessing community-based mental health programs and resources or telehealth services. And we have that information posted on our website at www.cusd.net. We also offer youth well workshops. So we're really focusing on providing mental health services, not only to our students and families, but also to our staff. So these particular workshops are for teens and families. The Youth Well offers mental wellness workshops for teens and families and teachers. And on October 25th, speaker Dave Moschel will present new strategies to help find balance, reduce stress, improve focus, and manage emotions, which can benefit all at home, in the classroom, in sports, and in relationships. We're hoping to increase resilience in our teams through mindfulness and self-care. And for more information, you can log on to youthwell.org. We have great news from the Carpinteria Education Foundation. CEF and Westerley Orchids generously donated funds to support economically disadvantaged CUSD students without internet connection. CEF is partnering with CUSD and CBCEO Computers for Families to secure monthly internet access through the Cox Connect to Compete program for CUSD students. We're really grateful for a generous support. In addition, CEF is donating $10,000 for personal recess equipment for each and every one elementary student to have their own jump rope, chalk, playground ball, and beanbag. Safe Halloween during COVID-19 pandemic. So Santa Barbara County Public Health is reminding everybody how to be safe during Halloween, and they've posted their guidelines for a safe celebration that reduces the risk of spreading COVID-19. And the last item is Measure U, modernization for the old CHS administration building, which will house the new CHS Student Success Center, is going to be completed this week. Modernization for the gym began July 1, and it's now 48% complete. And it's anticipated to be completed on time in February 2021. The Measure U team has submitted the revised Summerlin preliminary concept review to the County Board of Architectural Review and received the concept approval on October 2nd, subject to some minor changes. There's one more meeting with BAR in November to get final approval, and then we'll be submitting the project to the Planning Commission, which approves the coastal development permit. Once we have the coastal development permit, we'll be submitting it to the Division of State Architects so we can secure the approval for beginning construction in the summer. Summerlin students and staff will be relocated to the former main school campus for the 21-22 school year. Thanks.
Thank you, Diana. There's so many positives in that report, and I think all of us thank you and everyone else for all their hard work to get all this organized.
I want to thank Michelle for buying that new house too.
Gosh, who lived there? 23 million?
Well, we thank them, whoever it is.
I don't know who bought the house, but I knew who sold the house.
Who sold it?
I believe it was Ellen's house in Padero.
Jeez,
Oh,
Jeez. You
Excellent.
didn't live there very long. Crazy.
Have a couple of questions on Diana's report.
Sure.
On the last page, do you get any reports from Cox Communications, Diana? Because ever since Education Went Online, you can see Cox trucks all over Baylor Avenue and streets working on the internet. I mean, at least 2 trucks. So that means that there's something wrong on this area regarding the internet.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
It's not related to the program.
yeah, but I mean, almost every day I see 2 trucks, like trying to, reprint the system, the internet, and I don't know if it's a congestion of all the students that are trying to get into Zoom or something, but it's since March actually speaking, all of these area.
Well, there's probably a lot of families that are working from home. So I'm sure that's increased the load on the bandwidth.
But the Carpentry Education Foundation is working directly through Partners in Education with Cox. It's Partners in Ed and Cox who are going to be providing the students who have shaky internet with internet.
Or
And
bandwidth.
most of those,
Yeah.
and most of those
because
students live in the
there's
hills.
different
Diana.
there is different prices.
Yes.
Cost different prices. You know, like if you want the high speed internet, I think is cheap, $50 per hour. I mean per hour per month. If you want like mid level internet, not slow but not fast, then it's like 30 or 35. Now, if you want the lowest internet, that's like $20 or so.
That's exactly what CEF is doing, Rogelio. They're working with Partners in Ed and Cox to make sure everybody has the best possible connections.
That would be the high-speed internet where you connect right
I don't know
away.
that.
Yeah, that's because I'm telling that because I have lived in this area for forever. Now back to the first page on the district's enrollment. Okay, currently we have 2,084 students, and my question is this: what are the implications if the enrollment falls under 2,000?
What, I'm sorry?
Well, right now the current district enrollment is 2,084 students.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the implications or problems that the district could face if the student population falls under 2,000?
Yeah, there will be no problems. It'll be an advantage because the class sizes will be smaller.
Smaller class sizes.
Smaller class sizes.
More dollars per student
Yes.
Mhm.
because
We're
we have
not-
less students, but the same amount of money.
Unlike most districts, we do not receive LCFF funding. So our funding is not based on the enrollment. So when the enrollment is declining, that means we have more money per student and we have smaller class sizes.
Okay, moving on to
Okay, thank you.
the superintendent. The board is asked to approve the first reading of the superintendent's evaluation form and the superintendent's annual goals for 2020 and 2021. Okay, Diana, it's you.
Thank you. So I'll share my screen. And do you see it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So these are the annual goals that we worked on with the leadership team. And for each goal, there's benchmarks. The first goal is to increase student learning with high quality standards-based instruction that is differentiated for each student. And so the way we measure it is that we expect that 60% or more of our students in the exit grades 5, 8, and 11 will meet or exceed the standard for English language arts, and 45% will meet and exceed the standard for math. And that's based on the 2019. As you can see, the 2019 results are listed there. And then these would be our benchmarks for 21. And then for our disaggregated groups of students, we looked at each group. For EL students, our benchmark is to increase their percentage by 5% to meet and exceed standards in the exit grades. And those were their scores in 2019. For socially economic disadvantaged students, another 5% increase. And then for students with disabilities, another 5% increase. In addition to state testing, we measure student achievement with grades in the upper grades, middle school and high school. So we are working towards 70% or more students in grades 6 through 12 will earn a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher. This is the current GPA history from last year. So this is for June 2020. And then our expectation is that we will classify 50% or more of our EL students to be reclassified by grade 8. Currently, we have 42%. Our second goal is increase student engagement and participation in a positive school culture in partnership with parents. And we use the Healthy Kids Survey to analyze the data. And we are working towards 90% or more of the students will report high levels of academic motivation and meaningful participation. And right now, if you look at grades 5 through 11, it varies from the lowest of 42% to 97%. And then we expect 95% or more of our students, staff, and parent that will report our schools are safe and respectful. And again, that is measured with the Healthy Kids Survey, and our range right now is 87 to 96. And then these are our other measurements. We want higher average daily attendance, 95%. Last year, we did meet that goal, but we want to continue to meet it this year, which is going to be a challenge because of the remote learning. 5% or less chronic absenteeism, and in 2019, we had 11.2%. 0% dropout rate, and in 2019, it was 7.4%. We want 1% or less suspension rate, and we're measured against a 4.7%, and then no expulsions, and it was 0.2% in 2019. The third goal is to improve high school graduation and college readiness rates. We expect 100% of our seniors graduating from high school, and in 2019, 90.7% graduated. We are expecting 50% or more of our students will meet the A to G readiness requirements, and it's currently at 38%. 60% or more students will enroll in AP honors or dual enrollment courses, and it was 59%. And 60% or more students will enroll in CTE courses, and currently it was 51%. 75% or more students will demonstrate college career preparedness. Currently it's 44.7%. And then 15% or more students will receive the state seal of biliteracy. And in 2019, we had 11%. Our goal 4 is to learn and use the essential elements of cultural proficiency to guide district and school decisions. So our goal is to have a 10% decrease in the academic achievement gap between white and Hispanic students in grades 5, 8, and 11 on the CASC. Currently in 5th grade, the difference is 26%, grade 8, 26%, and grade 11, 22% in ELA. And in math, the difference is higher. And then we are looking at a 10% decrease between students who are economically disadvantaged and non-economically disadvantaged students in those exit grades on CASC. And you can see the difference is even greater. We also are developing a DLI program for kindergarten in Aliso for next year, because currently the students in Catalino DLI with Aliso as their home school, we have 16 Aliso students in Catalino's kindergarten, 15 in the 1st grade, 19 in the 2nd grade, and 16 in the 3rd grade. So you have more than 65 students of Aliso that are now attending Catalino, because we didn't offer a DLI program in Aliso. Another benchmark is that our Student Success Center will replace Rincon Continuation School to serve failing high school students. And you'll notice that in 2019, we had 33 students enrolled in Rincon and Foothill, and they were 90% Hispanic, when our high school enrollment is only 74% Hispanic. Our district leadership team and CUSD teachers will participate in professional development and cultural proficiency. We will offer a multi-literature class at CHS, and then we are offering targeted English language STEM lessons to our grade 5 EL students to encourage their reclassification. Our next goal is to expand our multi-tiered system of support to increase services to students who are struggling academically and emotionally. And this is related to the counseling and mental health services that we provide, as well as the monitoring, progress monitoring and student assessment data analysis that has to occur at each grade level to determine what academic intervention we are going to implement to ensure students master their grade level standards. And then this is related, the next goal is related to facilities that will update and maintain. So again, you had seen this earlier, that 90% or more students will and staff and parents report that schools are clean and well maintained, and that we will complete all our Measure U construction and modernization projects on time. Our next goal is to coordinate maintenance, transportation, and ground services to increase efficiency of delivery of the services to the school sites. Implement a central kitchen model for food services so we can increase the quality of breakfast and lunch and the efficiency. The next two goals are related to the COVID-19 plans for reopening. We'll implement safety protocols outlined in the district adopted reopening plan to safely reopen elementary, middle school, and high school during the COVID-19 pandemic. And associated with that goal is procuring and distributing our PPEs, technology, supplies, and materials for safely reopening schools using our LMF funds, our state and federal funds. Goal 11 is related to developing the budget for next year that supports educational programs while maintaining sustainability and reducing deficit spending. We continue to focus on automating human resource and business functions within Escape to increase efficiency. We update our board policies as recommended by CSBA. And our last goal is to negotiate the effects of remote learning and school reopening for both certificated and classified for 2020 and 2021. We've already accomplished for the first half, we've already negotiated the effects of remote learning, and now we're negotiating the effects of school reopening. And then the last goal, of course, is to continue our communication, support, and outreach to parents and communities and the community, highlighting our achievements. So those are the goals. Would you have questions or comments about the goals?
I just have a comment. I appreciate the data you shared on the Rincon students compared to the demographics of the high school. That was really interesting.
The one thing, the only comment I have, Diana, would be the big number that stands out to me is the meaningful participation.
Yes.
You know, that's abysmal. 44% at
Yes.
7th grade and 45% at
Yes.
or 45 and 42, 44 and 42 at the 7th and 9th grade. You know, I'm really interested to see our staff reaction, and then what, because this is really I think more a reflection of staff than administration, because that they're the ones that have control over you know, the participation in classes and the rigor. And I know that that's been a concern, is that some of our classes are not rigorous and they aren't challenging our children. And I'd just like to maybe, if not right now, in the future, to see what our strategies are to improve that number.
So the task is for our leadership team. They've developed these goals, and now they're working with their leadership teams at the school site to determine specifically site goals in which they are responding to these low numbers, especially in the middle school and high school. And you know, it's even the challenge has increased twofold because we're trying to do it through remote learning.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, I mean, I'm guessing that number is not going to improve this year. I'm guessing that number is not going to.
I think from what I've seen, all of this is subject to to the pandemic, whether it can go down or whether it can go up. I think that all of this report is based on that.
Well, we are putting in and discussing and putting in strategies that are not related to the pandemic, but are more focused on each student's success with the tasks they're doing every day that helps them move closer to mastering their standards in English language arts and math. So that's really the focus, is the daily tasks in math and English language arts, so that students are moving closer and closer to achieving mastery. So whether it's a pandemic or not, that is our commitment to our students and to their families, that we will make sure that if you're in second grade, we are going to ensure that you are going to be able to master those standards by the way we've designed the lessons, by the curriculum that we've chosen to use, and how we're reinforcing and working in the classroom. And I do think that with 10 students in a class with one teacher, that you are going to see this kind of progress at the elementary level.
But now, do you think that when the middle school students and the high school students return on January to the classroom, do you think that will they be at the same level or that they were before the pandemic, or they will actually get behind that will actually affect their transfer to an university?
I'm expecting that our juniors and seniors will have the opportunity to go to university and college. That's what we're working towards. Yes, there are going to be learning gaps, and there's going to be specific learning gaps in certain groups of students. And that's why we have to focus on how we're providing that additional support in the afternoons. The schedule will be for CMS in the high school. In the mornings, they'll be teaching small groups of students, but they will be teaching through simulcast. So half the class will be at home and half the class will be in session. So no student should be left behind, because in the afternoon, there'll be office hours and you as a student can seek additional work individually from a teacher. So we should be able to ensure that our students that the gap isn't as large as it could be. That's our work that we need to do, is to close those gaps.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the first reading, so we don't take a vote on it yet.
Yes, thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Diana, very much. And we move on to D4, and I believe there is no public comment, correct, Monica?
Correct, Sally, there's no public comments.
Okay. So moving on to E, E1, the board is asked to approve the second reading of BP and AR 4119.11 and 4219.11 and 4319.11, sexual harassment. The governing board is committed to providing a safe work environment that is free of harassment and intimidation. The board prohibits sexual harassment against district employees and retaliatory behavior or action against any person who complains, testifies, or likewise participates in the complaint process established for the purpose of this policy. The following policy shall apply to all district employees, interns, volunteers, contractors, job applicants, and other persons with an employment relationship with the district. May I have a motion to approve this board policy?
Move to approve.
Second.
Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. E2, the board is asked to approve the second reading of the new AR 4119.12, 4219.12, and 4319.12, Title IX, Sexual Harassment Complaint Procedures. The complaint procedures described in this administrative regulation shall be used to address any complaint covered by Title IX of the Education Amendments of 1972 alleging that a district employee was subjected to one or more forms of sexual harassment stated on this regulation. I have a motion to approve this board policy.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Okay, moving on there. F, educational services, there is nothing. And as we move on to G, G1 is warrants. The board is asked to approve the warrants for the period of October 9th, 2020 through October 22nd, 2020 in the amount of $1,197,179.11. Warrants are issued once a week on Thursdays. The report format shows check number, check date, payee, brief account description, payment comment, and check amount. May I have a motion to approve the warrants?
Move to approve.
A second?
Second.
Any questions on the warrants?
Yes, actually, I was really going through the warrants, and in mentions 2 weeks ago or so, the water, there was a charge for the water meters. And I have a question. Did the hookup was canceled of those water meters?
No,
No?
no. Here's
Because
what happened. Let me
what's the
explain what happened.
cancellation?
Yes, I'm going to explain what happened. There was a bill for us to hook up the water meter with Montecito Water District.
Yeah.
What they sent, though, was a bill for Summerlin and hooking the water up, which we paid. So we had to cancel that and reissue another check because there were 2 payments in one check, the hookup and the bill for Summerlin School.
The
So
first
the-
check was
That
canceled.
was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, the first check was canceled and we reissued 2 checks, one for the hookup and one for the water bill.
Yeah, because at the end of the page, I noticed that there was a cancellation for
Yes.
44,305. Is that it?
Well, that is it, except that the
Oh,
44,
22, excuse me, it's 22,000.
right,
That's
but the,
two.
Yeah.
right, it says 44 because the system doubles the issue. So it's only one cancellation of 22,000 and a reissue of 22,000. But the report, it's not our report. System generated report. It adds the cancel and reissue, so it's not double.
It's not
So
double.
it was just one payment of
Yes.
22,000.
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor of approving the warrants?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Moving on to G2. The board is asked to accept the donation from Green Hills Software of $2,125 to Carpinteria High School ASB Computer Science Robotics Club. I have a motion to approve this.
Approve?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you to Green Hills. G2 is a donation from Ariana and Joe Tomini to CUSD Elementary Music Program. The board is asked to accept the donation of one Yamaha model clarinet valued at $400 to the CUSD Elementary Music Program. May I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve with gratitude.
Yes.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Marine, G3, the October budget update. Very exciting.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. All right, there we go. Let me go back to the top. all I see are people, so I'm going to move you over to the side. So this is our October budget update. As you heard in the superintendent's report, there's some good news in this update. On the second slide, I am going to share with you the differences between the adopted and what was in the October, the budget we're going to present. So this is a little bit different. So much reverb here. And the only difference was in the 1920, those are actuals, and so they were still in the projected column.
Excuse me, Maureen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the reverberation is not good.
I don't know what.
Maureen, I think you need to turn your volume down a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Maureen, I'm sorry, but the reverberation.
I don't, Maureen, I need to turn your volume down a little bit.
Yeah.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Can you even hear me?
Oh yeah, much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't hear you, but that's okay. So the 1920 year in the right side of the slide is now closed. So that has been moved over to actual instead of projected. In the adopted budget, it was also estimated actuals. The most exciting part is when you look at the increase in the adopted versus the increase in the update, it's changed significantly. So we were estimating a 3 and a 4 and a 4%. It looks slightly lower because of the type of taxes. And we actually came in at like 5.84 increase. In Diana's report, she mentioned that the county there were several counties that could have considered to eliminate a teeter status. And what that means is that we're given a tax estimate based on the tax roll projection, and that's how the money gets. It's adjusted slightly throughout the year, but we get what we're projected to get. And if the tax collection comes in less, let's say people don't pay in December, they defer, they don't pay in April, they defer, we don't take that hit, the county treasurer does. That's what it means to be a teeter district. If we were not a teeter district, we would only receive the taxes collected. And that can change year over year, especially when there's a lot of uncertainty in either in real estate, like in the recession, or like we were being told to anticipate with the pandemic and the job loss. So below, the bottom box talks about the delta between adopted and update. So in the 2021 year, our taxes increased by $785,000. That compounds the projection for the next 2 years. Now, those are strictly projections, but we do have to do a 3-year budget. And so the increases to those 3 years are 1.1 and 1.5 million consecutively. So you can see on that when we get to the multi-year, how much it really impacted that 3rd year out. On slide 3, this is our total general fund budget. The revised that you saw in September and the revised you're going to see tonight. It shows the state aid of an increase of 782. The reconciliation is on the next page. So I'm just going to go over this one a little more briefly, but I want to talk about the net change to fund balance at the very bottom. The fund balance is increasing by $1,015,923. That's huge. The blue column is where we are on actuals to date. I will let I'm going to point out again that we have spent 17% of our budget through the 19th of October, and we have only received less than 8.5% of our revenue. The federal revenue of $2 million, that's all the CARES money. So they have advanced us CARES money, but you can see that we're not receiving much other monies. And I'll put some of this revenue, the cash flow in context. About 2 weeks ago, we finally received, and that's what you're going to see in state revenues, the 18-19 special ed IDEA money. So we haven't even received any money for special ed for 19-20. It's all an accrual. So cash flow is getting more and more challenging when we're not getting cash like we used to on a schedule. It's very delayed. And we're very lucky we're not LCFF because the state apportionments are all being deferred based on the state's cash flow. At the very bottom of the page, we were projecting a 5.78% reserve. Now we are projecting about an 8.3% reserve, greatly improved. On slide 4 is where we detail the changes. The top box goes through the revenues, the property tax increase of $785,106. We had a slight EPA adjustment downward of $2,700, which is the net of $782,366. We had some donations added to Aliso. And then on the expenditure side, we had some reduction in expenditure because mainly because we had fully budgeted the learning loss mitigation money, the CARES money, when we spent 233 last year. So the budget for this year went down by that. So all the revenues coming in this year, and we are only spending about $2 million of the money. That is what affects our net change to fund balance. Very few changes. So in the multi-year, you see that in the current year, we are not deficit spending. We have an excess of revenues over expenditures by $1 million. That has afforded us a fund balance reserve of this has 8.27 because it's not including Fund 07 like the other report. 21-22 with those impacted new revenues and all of the costs put back in that we reduced in this year's adopted budget, because we reduced a lot of budgets due to the fact that we'll be closed. We restore that fully 21-22, expecting that we'll be back open in class and spending money. We're still positive excess 168 that we're anticipating with almost a 9.5% reserve. And then 22-23, we build those reserves even up higher. We have more of a surplus in our revenue over expense to just about under a 13.5% reserve. This looks better than we've probably seen in a long time, a long time. Now, none of these 3 years have any employee compensation built in, so that I just want to put that out there. And then finally, I want to talk about where we are on the CARES money. We talk about this being the learning loss mitigation funds. That includes both federal and state sources. We talked about this like lots of different pots of money. And what you see in the chart below are all the categories we have to report on. And all of the things that we've spent, there's $1.8 million on to date. And sometimes I'm like, how did we spend $1.8 million? But believe me, it goes fast. I want to note that we did hire 2 teachers on contract. We hired a full-time nurse on contract and a half-time. We increased our gate teacher to full-time. Those are very big adds. We also added a full custodian, which is not reflected. It's on this sheet, but it's being paid both out of different pots of CARES money, so that Summerlin could have their own custodian to make sure that they're clean. You'll see on each category how much we've spent in all of these categories, and the highest spend is in the middle, providing devices and connectivity for in-classroom and distance learning. And you can see that technology is not cheap. Not that anything else in here is, but technology is not cheap. So we have a balance of $357,000 remaining to be spent, not just through December, but in the entire pot of $2.2 million. And I'll give you some idea of some of the things that are already committed that didn't make it on the report. And that would be the PE bags that you heard about in the superintendent's report, and those will be going to all the elementary kids. We are looking for a vehicle for food services to be able to distribute lunches, knowing that when we all come back in January, we won't have the staff to be able to have like 3 different people deploying and delivering, or 4 different people deploying and delivering. And we are also looking at other technology resources that may help when we come back. So it goes fast, and we're monitoring it pretty closely, and we're trying to utilize it in the best fashion that we can. I'm hoping that some of you were able to see the Parent Square post that Michelle put out. She's doing a fantastic job with food services and engaging families and kids with the pumpkin carving contest. And then on the third column, you'll see we have pop-ups and outdoor chairs and teacher carts. And those are all really essential to making sure kids can go outside and learn, and they have their chairs. And I've never seen kids so excited about having a fold-out camp chair at school. It's like, this is, they're like camping and in pop-ups with, the way that they're designed to have, lots of space, be outside and be able to really not focus on being indoors like we all have been for many months. So a lot of this is well thought out. Leadership is involved. It's with great collaboration, and I'm pretty glad that we've got on this list a lot of really good student support mechanisms put in place, as well as PPE and all the safety stuff. So that's my quick and skinny.
Thank you, Maureen. That is really very exciting, all that.
Yes, it is.
Amazing, and it's especially good that we live in Southern California where the kids are able to go outside for several more.
And the pop-ups have side flaps, and so even if it's misty or damp, they can put the sides up and still be a little bit in shelter.
And they don't get cold. They don't care about the weather.
No, they don't get cold.
Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I do. So with all the pop-ups and everything, a lot of donated also pop-up, and the 93013 fund, I know, donated PE equipment. I know at Summerlin, a lot of the parents donated pop-ups, and that's not even taking into account the amount of money that we spent. Are we going to have enough funds available for when we actually open the middle school and high school? Those type of things?
The middle and high school model probably won't be real conducive to outdoor education.
Right. Yeah. The reason being is that they're going to be simulcasting. So half the classes at home and half the classes in school, and they're going to have to simulcast because they're teaching everybody at the same time. Right. So they're not going to be able to do it through outdoor education because they're simulcasting. So they're not going to need the pop-ups.
Okay. And that's already in play to do that simulcast?
Pardon me?
It's already in play to do that, to do the simulcast?
But we're working on it. It's going to take some time, but we've got 2 months. We've got November and December to work on it. We're working on it. But yes, that's the only way secondary can do it effectively for students. The hybrid model does not work for secondary. So you have to, the content is so rich, you have to have everybody at going the same pace.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we're looking at the money we have left, and we're talking with Lisa O'Shea and Gerardo on their needs. We're making sure, we've already anticipated what we need for PE, so we have a lot of that already outlined and purchased. We are making sure that we're in position to carry out the rest of the year with our needs. Now, will that money go far enough? It really depends on, I think it will, because we've already, like the simulcasting, we've already cost that out. We already know what that's going to cost, we've already anticipated what's left and how we're going to be able to utilize that money. And it is all dedicated for what's going to happen at the middle and high school.
I have a question that's in regard to the elementary more than secondary, but it would. Is there some point where we have? Sorry, I don't know if that's me or it might be my speaker. I don't know. Is there some point where we have a number of students? Is there a threshold where we have the number of students at elementary that aren't attending school, that are either independent study or doing remote learning, and then we need a staff to help conduct the Zoom meetings? Is there some threshold where that takes place?
Yes, I was looking at if you have 20 students, I mean, you need to have them at the grade levels. You know, the challenge at the elementary is that you're representing 7 different grade levels. So you can't have 50 kids at 7 different grade levels and think that you're going to have 2 or 3 teachers take care of that. That's not going to work. So you need about 5 to 8 teachers, and you need to have at least, you need to have almost one for 2 grades or one for every grade level. So we need more kids in independent study.
In order to do that.
Yeah, probably close to
Yeah.
75 to 80. Yeah. And then we need to find the teachers, 4 teachers.
So so right now, do we have teachers taking elementary teachers taking COVID relief?
Yes, but they wouldn't necessarily say, yes, sure, I'm a 1st grade teacher and I'll teach 4th, 5th remote. No, they would not change their leave.
So there's no obligation there for them to do that. Okay.
No.
So there's no obligation.
And that's the challenge, is that we just don't have the staff.
Okay. It's like a shell game, isn't it? You've got to continue to shuffle things around based on a changing playing board. And I really, hats off to admin for being able to shuffle this around, and hats off to our teachers who are doing in-person teaching right now, because I've heard nothing but good, positive feedback from everything that's going on at our elementary schools. And I think it's a testament to everyone involved that they're able to be adaptive and resilient, and change their teaching strategies, change their whole approach, really, and adapt to a whole new learning and paradigm. And I just think it's I think Carpinteria is a perfect place for this to work, and so far it looks like it is working. And
It's
I'm
because the teachers are working so hard.
well, that's
really
what I'm getting at.
You're an elementary teacher and they're teaching students in class, and it's really an advantage to have only 10 students in class, but they are maintaining the safety and the health and the sanitization. And then they're also providing lessons for remote learning, because every morning they're meeting with their entire class. So unlike most school districts, we are inviting all the students every morning to morning meeting, independent students, remote learning, and in class.
Yeah.
Students are meeting with the teacher every single morning. So they're setting up the day for everybody. And that's a lot of moving parts to be responding to. So yes, absolutely. Kudos to our teachers and our instructional assistants, our school site principals, everybody at the school site. They are working so hard to manage all those moving parts.
Yeah, no, I think it is tremendous, but I think that just being able to see your teacher and your classmates every day, even if you're not in class, really makes that connection. And that's such an important thing at that age. And I mean, it's an important thing at all ages, but so I really, we really need to get our middle and high school kids back into the classroom.
Yes.
We just do. And so I think as I'm sure you're doing, you take advantage of these 2 months and get the simulcast, the tracking cameras, the iPads, whatever it's going to take, so that they're able to do that effectively. And yeah. Well, it was great budget news.
Yes.
Thank you, Maureen.
Oh, and Maureen should add, in addition to the budget, we have some great news about our bond sales.
Oh, that's right. So we closed and sold both our third, our Series C third draw for the Measure U bond, as well as the refunding bond from 2014. And the really good news is that we sold our Measure U Series C bond for 3.6% interest, and our refunding bond came in at 2.4% interest, where
Excellent.
yesterday we were pretty uneasy that it would come even below 4. So we got really good success, and we were ahead of a lot of the game. Our bond rating made a difference in all of that. So we saved on the refunding. We anticipated saving taxpayers between $500,000 and $600,000. For the series, we saved them $854,000.
Yeah. So that's because
Excellent.
to the board. That's the
Thank you
board.
to all of us.
Well, we thank all of you because that's stewardship of the budget that has allowed us that rating, and that rating then in turn allows us to for those savings for the taxpayers when we refi the bonds. So congratulations to the board. You all did a great job. That is a big win for our
It was
taxpayers.
very successful.
So
Let's
it's
put that on the
2.4, right?
We're very excited.
Correct?
What, Rogelio?
2.4%?
That was for the refunding,
Okay.
The refinance and
the refinance.
the refinance of the existing bond from 1995. So it saves taxpayers over the life of the remaining life of the bond. It saves the people that are paying it on their tax bill $60,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still paying for that.
Well, it doesn't amount to very much on everybody's tax bill. It's probably 50 cents or something a year, but it's you know, it's still a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and the fact that we got a 3 low threes on our bond
3.65.
is tremendous, because that, you know, that basically was it $25 million,
30.
$30 million. So that basically what's 1% of 30 million, you know, that's $300,000 additional money that we have to go towards projects in the district. So that's a big deal.
Big deal.
Good
Yeah,
job.
it's a big deal. So good job to everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, H, Measure U. The board is asked to approve change order number 1 for the Carpinteria High School Gymnasium project. The project requires change order number 1 for items 1 through 7, which includes double bonus scoreboards, gas regulator, concrete work, cross slope, HV unit curbs, and hardware changes. There is no change to the contract time. Change order number 1 is in the amount of $32,979.44, which will bring the contract sum to $4,563,998.75, paid with Measure U funding. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions on this? Pretty amazing, a project that size this is the first change order. It's great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Moving on to I, personnel. The board is asked to approve the following recommended personnel items. The 3 personnel assignments, 1 personnel resignation, 2 retirements, and the athletic fall winter coaching assignments, which involve 22 persons. May I have a motion to approve?
So
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor of the personnel summary? Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion's approved. Any board announcements regarding activities involving schools, staff, or students? I would just like to congratulate Chris Karpenko and Leslie Grieve on their retirements. Chris worked for many years on the Catalino campus at the family school. And Leslie, I don't know how long she had worked in the district, but she provided assistance and recess assistance and all kinds of things for any number of children for, I know, probably at least 20 years. So thank you both very much.
I'd just like to wish good luck to all of our board candidates, Jamie, Rogelio, Craig, and Jeff and Aaron. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll soon find out.
We will.
Michelle?
No,
Jamie?
No,
No
Smith.
comments? Okay. All right. Can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second?
second, go root for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I can see it in the background on your TV.
You guys wondering.
Thank you all. Have a good
All right, good night.
Good night. Go Dodger Blue.
Yay.